What's up, Fiend fam? Throttle Fiend coming back at you for yet another video. Can you believe it? 2 weeks in a row. Feels like I should be contacting the Guinness Book of World Records or something. Just glad to be back, folks. Just glad to be back. It's been too long a time, and feels good to be back on Tuesday and talking to the Fiend fam. So, messed around with the settings on the GoPro because I remember, as I said in the last video, I knew that the HJC had some issues with the way the mount was set up and all that. I believe I have it fixed, so let's hope that it's a lot better. That being said, thank you all so much. I really appreciate the views and comments and likes that the last video received. I truly am humbled by the amount of love and support that I was specifically shown for that video. I wasn't sure how it was going to do. You know, I mean, again, being that I didn't make content for, what, basically 8 months, 9 months, at least not regularly, I wasn't sure how things were going to end up. I mean, at the end of the day, overall, I think I lost like maybe somewhere between 15 and 20 subscribers over that time, which again, totally understandable. I get it. But I am going to endeavor to do everything in my power to make it up to you and continue making good content and you know, hopefully imparting some knowledge, entertainment, or something to the biker community, the best community in the world as far as I'm concerned. So that being said, I don't believe that I've had this bike long enough to make a review video yet, but I certainly can give, you know, initial impressions and talk about the bike and all this and that. So this is my 4th ride on the Navi now, I think, and you know what, it's a good little bike. Obviously, it has, you know, I don't want to say target demographic, but you know, it's certainly aimed at certain types of riders. You know, I mean, as I said in my other video, the bike, before tax tags, you know, license, and obviously that, you know, depends from state to state. New York's going to get every last penny they can out of us, obviously, but you know, $1,800 for a new bike, I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, Honda reliability, you know, it's got a CVT, so if you're a new rider, or even a returning rider, I had somebody comment on my last video, shout out to you, sir, I don't remember your name from the comment, and I will be responding to that comment this evening. This week's been kind of crazy for me, but I will be responding to you. But you know who you are, and thank you for commenting. So, as I said in the last video, first thing, I'm not crazy about the lack of self-canceling turn signals or turn signals on either side of the handlebars. That being said, it's an $1,800 bike. I mean, there's bikes that are, you know, tens of thousands of dollars more expensive that don't have that feature, so I can't knock the Navi for it. Just as a previous Harley rider, it's just it's taking some getting used to. But so yeah, again, in my personal opinion, I think that this is one of, if not the best beginner bikes. As I said before in my previous video, I firmly believe that all riders should learn how to ride a manual transmission bike, but for some reason, if you have physical limitations, or it just is too much for you to, as a new rider, to concentrate on, you know, doing all the other controls that it takes to ride a motorcycle and shift at the same time, there's no shame in this game. You know, as a corollary to that, as part of this video, you know, I'm not a huge fan of gatekeeping in motorcycling. You know, as somebody who owned a Sportster for a couple of years, you know, I would, and some of it's in jest, obviously, but there are some people that are like, you know, come talk to me when you get a real bike. Well, you know, sorry, glasses are fogging up. You know, people rode Sportsters for decades upon decades upon decades. I mean, yeah, the fully dressed baggers are the ones that everybody, you know, likes, but, or thinks of when you think of a Harley, but, at the end of the day, without the Sportster, would Harley-Davidson still be around, or at least, at the very least, who they are today? So, you know, I mean, and as I always say, one more of us is one less cager. I wave to everybody. I wave to bicyclists, I wave to scooters, I wave to mini motos, I wave to Harleys, I wave to everything. If you're on two, you're one of us. You're not one of them. And besides, everybody starts somewhere. Why would you possibly want to shoo somebody away from riding when, you know, you could be a supporting presence for them? Speaking of which, I know you won't see this until afterwards, but happy International Female Ride Day today. I hope all you awesome biker women got out and got your wind therapy on. Throttle therapy on. You know, wherever you are, hopefully you were able to do that. And of course, obviously, tomorrow, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, whether you be blood mamas, step mamas, fur baby mamas, everything in between. Tomorrow's your day, and I hope you have a fantastic one. And I know that you sometimes, or at least pretty much watch, even though you don't comment or let me know. I'm pretty sure you watch all my videos, Mom. So if and when you see this, happy Mother's Day to you as well. I love you so much. So anyways, back to the Honda Navi. So, you know, back when I was first getting into riding about 4 years ago, you know, everybody was like, you know, do the old usual, you know, get your, you know, depending on what type of bikes you wanted to get into, get yourself a, you know, a Suzuki or a Ninja, or, you know, something like that, like a 250, something like that. You can ride it around for a season and then pretty much sell it for what you paid for. In my personal opinion, this bike exemplifies that. I mean, again, aside from not having a manual transmission on it, this is easily one of those bikes you could buy, ride around for a bit, you know, until you wanted to upgrade, and then, you know, go ahead and get your money back out of it. You know, Motopink Sensei Kristen and I were lucky in the sense that we were able to get this at MSRP. You know, granted, we put in a deposit back in January for the bike, but since we've gotten ours, I've heard of, not in my area, but some dealerships getting, you know, $1,000, $2,000 over MSRP for this motorcycle. So, you know, it really is a good bike and value for money. I have no doubt that if we ever decide to sell it, that we will easily get our money back. Easily. That being said, I'm not sure. We may just very well keep it. We may very well keep it, because even if you're, you know, not somebody that's going to go out and ride hardcore all the time, this is a great commuter bike. I mean, it's got a .99, we'll call it a gallon tank, and it, you know, manufacturer average is saying you get about 100 miles to the tank. Now, That's manufacturer speak. So even if you get 75 or 80 miles to the gallon, that's pretty good, especially with the way gas prices are right now. So it definitely is something that you could consider. You know, again, everybody starts somewhere, and fog it up again. Everybody should think of motorcycles as tools, and you get the right tool for the job. You know, certainly you're not going to go out and buy a GS 1200 if you want to go out and run some track days. Just as you wouldn't go out and get a Honda CBR 1000RR if you're looking to go cross-country riding. So, you know, you pick the right tool for the job, whatever that tool may be. Alright, if I have to be completely honest with you all, which I always am, I'm having some anxiety right now. This is actually the road that I was on when I had my wreck last year on the Lowrider S, so... But I feel it's time to do it. It's time to go past there again and wipe the slate clean. Nice. Nice. Again, gatekeeping. If you're on two, man, who gives a shit what you're riding? Excuse my French. Oh, that's their loss. Bet you if I'd been on my Lowrider S, though, I would have got a hand wave. Okay, I've got this throttle pinned, and I'm doing 40 miles an hour at a pretty flat road here. That being said, I'm probably, let's say, a little more padded than the intended average rider of the Navi. So, you know, your mileage might vary, so to speak. Uh-oh, we'll come up the hill. We just dropped down to 35 miles an hour. Again, it could also be some settings. This has a carburetor in it rather than electronic fuel ejection. I'm not sure if this thing is optimized for, you know, anything. You know, I got it to the settings to where it started and runs. This is the first time I've ever taken it on a road with this type of speed limit and or grade going uphill. So, but anyway, my you know, my thought still stands. This is a great little bike. I mean, especially if you live in a city. You know, I've got friends that live in New York City, Boston, other places where parking is at a premium. I mean, this thing you could pretty much put anywhere. You're going to be able to, you know, maneuver really well in it, with it, excuse me, and all that good stuff. That's where it is, right there. That's where my accident was, right outside that that parking lot right there. Sorry, just reflecting for a minute there. Feels really good to pass by it again. You know, unfortunately, I wish it had been on another bike, something a little bit more powerful, but hey, you work with what you got. You know, at the end of the day, as everybody who's been paying attention to this channel at all, you know this is not my bike. We bought it for Moto Pink Sensei for Kristen to begin her journey on twos. You know, and I figured it would be a good bike for me to get back on twos. You know, it's a small bike, you know, 110cc. It's only like 250 pounds. As you've seen going up that hill, it definitely will not get too unwieldy for you. It's not like one of those ones where you're gonna, you know, if you accidentally give it too much throttle, next thing you know, you're in the next zip code. This bike is very, very well powered for a beginner rider. You know, I mean, I certainly would not be looking to take this on any expressway, interstate, the New York State Thruway, or anything like that. You know, I haven't seen Jay Sutcliffe, my buddy in Syracuse, in a while. I'd love to be able to ride down to see him, but I ain't doing it on this bike. Even taking back roads, I think the speed limit's like 55, and yeah, not so much what I want to do. Someday soon I'll have a bigger bike. No, good things come to those who wait. Yeah, I'm doing the smart thing. Yes, I could run right out tomorrow and get financed on the biggest, baddest bike I want, but I want to be responsible. And right now, with Kristen finishing up her second to last semester in nursing school, she starts her her last semester in August, finishes in December. I think it's better to wait. You know, as much as it's hurting me to not have a bike that I can take on trips. No, even if there were local trips, but, you know, long distance, like go out for a day and ride, you know, a couple 100 miles, which I'm not saying can't be done on this bike, but it's not optimal, obviously. But, you know, again, this is just my first impressions after only riding a couple of times. You know, I'll have a more in-depth, full-on review of the bike once I've got, you know, used to its features and quirks, as Doug DeMuro would say. Those of you who know who that gentleman is. No, I'm not going to give it a Doug score. I'm going to give it a throttle score. That being said, I don't think that my opinion's going to change too much. This is a solid bike. It will do well for what it's made for. You know, if you don't expect too much and you temper your expectations, I think this bike will be just fine. Again, for $1,800. Let me repeat that again. For $1,800, you can't beat the price. I mean, that's half the price of a Honda Navi with ABS on it. I mean, okay, yeah, it's got a smaller engine, but I mean, anybody who's been following the Navi aftermarket at all, and the tuner scene on the Navi, knows that they have coaxed a lot of power out of that bike with just minor upgrades. Would I see us doing something like that on the Navi? No, it's not worth it. You know, the amount of money that I would put into it to get it to do highway speeds on a regular clip would be better. I'd just be better off going buying a used, you know, like old Honda Shadow or something. But that being said, this bike does everything that I expect it to do and more, because I've tempered my expectations. I know what its limits are. You know, this in no way is going to compete with my old Lowrider S, let alone, or my old 883, Iron 883, let alone my Lowrider S. I mean, this has got a 110cc. My Lowrider S had a 114 cubic inch. But it's a good little bike. I'm glad we bought it. I think it's going to be great for Moto Pink Sensei, Kristen, to get her feet wet. She's already had it out and been up and down the street a couple of times. Yeah, got the throttle pinned again, stuck at 40 miles per hour. 35. I have to believe it's a what do you call it? It's a setting or something. Maybe I don't have the choke set just right or something like that. Again, I freely admit that I know very little about. Whoa, I know very little about carbureted bikes. Ooh, nice Stingray. Yeah, there should be a Mustang guy back in the day for those that are new to the channel. Speaking of which, if you enjoy this content, please feel to like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way to help the channel, and I really do want to give back as much as I can to the community. I did have giveaways every 100 subscribers. I may end up doing that again in the near future. It's just going to depend on finances. Then again, I could still do it, but do something a little more wallet friendly as opposed to what I used to do, at least until things fiscally change for us. You know, Moto Pink Sensei finishes nursing school, starts working as a nurse. But again, another thing I don't like about this bike, and it's not an indictment on the bike. You know, again, temper your expectations. I really wish this bike had a clutch. I know that it's a CVT, you know, which is basically an automatic transmission, but I would love to have the ability to be able to just kill power to the back wheel at any time, or make little kids laugh if I did a rough bomb as I went under an overpass. Now, another thing, I'm gonna keep this you know, to this last topic, and then I'll end up closing out. But a lot of people are surprised that Honda brought this out. It's actually been a bike around the world for quite a few years. They just recently decided to bring it here to the US, which I'm so glad they did. Supposedly it comes in like 4 colors. I've only ever seen this, what is it, grasshopper green or something like that in the wild, or anybody else who's made videos, you know, who owns it. The only other times I've seen people on videos with other colors have been ones that like when Her Two Wheels and As a Magpie Flies and Moto Jitsu were brought out to California by Honda for the press event for them last year. That was the only time I ever saw any other colors. That being said, you know, I kind of like this color from a standpoint, and is it's more visible than just your basic black. So, all right, that being said, as always, stay shiny side up. Throttle Fiend out. Catch you in the next one.